Well, the BMW 3 Series, Volkswagen Golf and Ford Fiesta are the most popular decade-old models among potential buyers.
Why is that? Let's talk to second-hand car dealer and friend of the show, Danny Kelly, the man who always tries to flog me a car every time we have him on. Danny, morning to you. Look, well, we know the second-hand market is going through the roof and all the rest of it. Is there anything wrong with a car that's 10 years old or older, as long as they're properly maintained?
Good morning. No, basically, the Auto Trader article suggested that a banger, the definition of a banger was was 10 years old, and that just couldn't be further from the truth, Stephen and Ellie. You know, there are many safe, reliable cars that are driving around Royal Leamington Spa this morning, which have done 100,000 miles, and they've done 15, 20 years of motoring, and there's nothing wrong with them. We have an MOT centre here, we have a service centre and a used car pitch, and we regularly pass off cars that are safe, reliable, low emissions, and they're the apple of their owner's eye as well. There's a bit of snobbery with this article, Stephen.
Yeah, well, I was saying, when I saw it yesterday, back in my day, when I passed my test and all the rest of it, 30 years ago, if anyone had a car that was less than 10 years old, they were considered to be quite well off.
Yeah, that's right. Basically, in the last 10, 15 years, car manufacturers have made it really easy to purchase brand new cars on personal lease schemes. So we call it the never in the used car game, Stephen. So people just sign up and they're never going to own it, and they're always putting it down to, we'll sort that problem out tomorrow when it comes to the next monthly payment. So they've made it really easy, facilitated the purchase, or they're not purchasing the car, but the driving of new cars. And they've done a really strategically clever move there, because every 2 or 3 years when the lease is up, then they know potentially they've got the opportunity to sell the customer a brand new car. The article also went into emissions as well. And yes, they're right, older cars aren't as clean as modern technology. But I can tell you both this morning, hand on heart, that generally speaking, it's not everybody, but generally speaking, my customers couldn't give a damn about emissions. They just want something cheap and reliable to run.
Well, that's definitely what people are looking for at the moment with the cost of living crisis. I mean, people don't have the money for new cars, even if they can get hold of them. We know there's issues with chips and stuff, which is delaying new cars as well. But what are people looking for, Danny, when people are coming to buy a second-hand car for you? What are selling like hotcakes? And there's also, you know, if you're trying to sell a car yourself, it's actually quite easy now to make a profit, isn't it?
Ellie, honestly, that is so insightful, because over the last 2 years, the used car prices have gone through the roof. Now, what's happened as well recently, since that lunatic Putin invaded Ukraine, obviously that's had a knock-on effect of everybody's gas and domestic energy. So that's made people think twice about whether they want to change whimsically. I used to have people, Ellie, come onto the forecourt and say, I just fancy a change, Dan. What have you got? I bought the last one off you. What have you got, kid? And that market has dried up completely, because with the interest rates going up as well, the mortgages, because of that daft mini budget 2 or 3 weeks ago, people now are keeping their hands in their pockets. People who used to have deep pockets, Ellie, they're now thinking twice about whimsically changing their car. The only cars that are selling, and again I'm speaking generally, the only cars that are selling are cheap runarounds. I picked up a fella from Leamington Spa train station yesterday, and 6 weeks ago he put a deposit on a £4,000 Fiesta, which would have been worth $2,500 2 years ago. That car, a little Fiesta, has gone up. There you go, a Fiesta. That car has gone up about 35-40% over the last 18 months, 2 years, because the knock-on effect of that idiot Putin, the knock-on effect of the semiconductor shortage, and also the knock-on effect of people just wanting to buy cheap, reliable cars.
I mean, this is the issue, though, isn't it? Because it's a seller's market then, isn't it? But, I mean, that in itself causes problems. I mean, if the prices are... You're paying $4,000 for a Fiesta, you know, it is slightly problematic, isn't it?
And it was 13 years old, Steve, and that car must have only been brand new from the Ford showroom, what would that be? 9-10 grand 13 years ago, and it's retailing for £4,000. I sold a little 12 plate, again according to Auto Trader, that's a banger, a little 12 plate Toyota Aygo. I gave 3,500 quid for it, and it went like that. I sold it for 4,800 quid, 0 road tax, 50 to the gallon. And if you've got a car at the moment, and also I don't think that there's a bubble. You know, when we talk about a housing bubble, these prices are here to stay. I genuinely believe that. There won't be a crash, not like the housing market, in my opinion.
All right. Danny, really good to see you, as